Welcome to the first episode of Fly Tying Fridays. This episode, we're going to show you my way of tying a black zebra midge. I will be using a size 12 curved nymph hook to make it a little larger, easier to see as I'm demonstrating. This can be made as small as you want to tie it. Play around and find out. Typically, the midge is a size 14 to 20 on a Scud or a nymph hook. A bead can be used and helps with a quicker descent, or it gets it down deeper faster. We're going to use a black titanium bead for this example. This body is going to be made of black thread. I happen to have 200 denier on here, so that's what I'm going to use. And the ribbing on here, we're going to do fine silver, traditional black zebra midge. You can also add a thorax of a couple wraps of peacock herl. Is optional, but we'll save that for later. As you learn and practice, try all kinds of colors of thread and wire. Find out what colors work in your area. Some of the variations I've used and had pretty good success is black with gold, red with black, white with red, brown with green. Okay, let's start tying. I encourage you to tie yours while I walk you through it. I am no professional, but hopefully that makes it easier for you to learn, a skill every fly fisherman should at least try. To start out, we're going to go ahead and put our hook in the vise. I like to put the tip of it right against my fingernail. That way I can hide the tip of that hook in my vise, so my thread just doesn't catch it. Lock that in there tight so it doesn't wiggle. And we're going to start with our black thread. So to start your tying, start behind your head or partially down, and go ahead and give yourself a couple wraps forward and then a couple wraps back. What that's going to do is lock down your start. Take your scissors, go ahead and trim off that excess, get it out of your way. Take our silver wire. It's going to be our ribbing. We're going to tie that in so that it's uniform down the body. Hold it loose, get a nice wrap, then pull it tight so it locks, and just follow real nice tight loops. And you're going to take that all the way back to the bend in the hook, or around the bend, I guess is what they like to say. We're going down the hook so it curves. When you get to there, we're going to start going back up. Now you want to stay real even. The even you get these, the smoother it is, the more uniform your body is going to be. You can go back and forth and make this thicker. You can go really thin with some unwaxed thread depending on how thick your thread is. We're going to go all the way up to that bead head and just let that dangle. Then we're going to go ahead and take our ribbing wire. We're going to go in opposite direction. Aim for, a lot of people like to say 5 to 7 wraps, 8 wraps. I say just try to make them even and make it look good. Play around. You go real nice and smooth with those. Keep the wire tight. That way you can keep those wraps real even. And if some of them aren't even or you're off, don't worry about it. Go find me a couple insects out in nature that all look exactly the same, and how many of them are actually proportional. And get that all the way to the top there. We're going to take 2 wraps on the other side of the thread just to lock that in, and it's going to help build our thorax. Pull that tight. Then we're going to pull that wire to the back. Take 2 wraps, 3 wraps, whatever's comfortable, and then go on the other side. Separate that wire again. And this is just going to help lock that wire down nice and tight. Now, I don't like to mess up my scissors with the wire, so I like to just pinch it up top and just helicopter it. And this will come right off in no time. Nice and clean. Take a couple more wraps just to build that thorax and cover up that wire end. If you have a whip finishing tool, this is super easy. If you don't have a whip finishing tool, I've got another video I'll be coming out with. It's going to show you how to do this either by hand or how to do half hitches as well. I like to keep my main thread underneath on the bottom. Makes it a little cleaner when you start tying it off. I do 1, 2, 3. I like 3 to 5, so I do 4. When you pull that tight, snug it up nice and tight like that. Make sure it's going to stay tight. And then go up here and just trim off that excess. If you take your scissors and just slide them in here, you can guide it all the way up to your fly and then snip it nice and flush. When you get that pulled tight, you can put some UV glue on it. This is just some Power Flex. Best protection for knots. Just a super clear. You're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of that on your thread. And this Super Flex will go right in, soak its way into that thread. Give it a couple seconds to soak in. This is UV, so I happen to have one of the loon lights. It was a gift to me, so I lucked out and got one. Go ahead and hit that for about 60 seconds, I like to say. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch 60 seconds of it. After that, she should be dry and solid. And you've got yourself a little black zebra midge. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, subscribe down below. I will have a walkthrough for a different fly every Friday, starting with basic patterns to help learn different techniques that will all come together in more difficult ones down the road. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or want to just share some of your ideas or color combinations that work in your area, please don't be afraid to comment down below.